there, it's Emma from Emma's Cards and Paper Crafts. Today we are crafting with the On The Go suite. So we're concentrating more on the DSP side of things today, and I looked at these pages and they look like really good pages to be using for scrapbooking. So here is just a selection of the pages in this one. So you get double-sided sheets. So I've actually cut up, so that's, got some random stray bits of paper made their way in there. I've cut off the edge pieces of this sheet here because we're going to use those today. On the back of that one is a nice green, and then on the back of that one is that pattern, and then that's both sides of that one and both sides of that one. So that's what we're going to be using today. I've also cut out a whole sheet of the tags already because I know I'd be using the tags. So I'll just pop the rest of the DSP out of the way for now. Let's pop this over to the side. I've also got out the puffy stickers that go with it, so I thought I'd use those for decorating. And these are just a few pieces that I've picked for my page that we're going to make today. So a lot of these I've fussy cut out, and that's just a little pile of few that I've put to one side. I've also made a few photo mats. I haven't managed to get my photos printed out in time, so they'll be added at a later date. So we're going to stamp just a little camera icon on here with the, it's a retired set that I have. Love this moment. So this is a retired one, unfortunately, but I just like this icon here, and I think that's really good for sort of just like, this is where your photo goes kind of thing, if you was gifting it to someone. And the way I'm going to do this is just stamp in the middle, and I've made these a little bit bigger than the actual photos. So I've made this one 4.5 by 6.5, so that you could put a 4 by 6 photo straight on the top of this and you'll have a nice little border around. And then these are 2.5 by 3.5. So no, they can't be 2.5 by 3.5. Otherwise, that wouldn't make sense. Where is my ruler? No, they are 2.5 by 3.5. Yeah. And then this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5.5 by 4.5. No, it can't be 5.5. It must be 6.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6.5 by 4.5. So this will be for a 4 by 6 photo, and then these will be for 2 by 3 photos. So I'm going to pop those up there out the way. We're going to start off with our cardstock. So we can use pumpkin pie, and we are going to make a 2-page spread. So the way I want it to work is if these pages were together, it would be one seamless spread. I love the way that this green one has waves on it. So this one is, I want to say it's Summer Splash, or it might be Shy Shamrock. I feel like it's Summer Splash. And I like the diagonal that goes across here. So we're going to cut off this diagonal piece here just from the centre, and then we're going to have some strips of the green here, and then diagonal go across the middle of the 2-page spread. So we'll have a cut down the middle as well, but it will look like it's one big page. That is the plan. Whether the plan works, I do not know, but we're going to give it a go. That is just the idea that I've come up with for today. So I haven't really planned what the page is going to look like, but we're just going to go with it. I'm going to pop my cardstock to one side a minute, and then let's cut our diagonal piece first, and then we can determine how wide I want my other strips. So you can't actually cut 12 by 12 any sense diagonally on a paper cutter. So I want the white line, so I'm going to cut just after the white line, like so. And then now to figure out how to cut this way without ruining my paper. It doesn't fit, does it? So if I fold it over, it's just gonna do. We're gonna have to fussy cut it, I think, because I don't have a long enough scoring mat. So I'm just gonna go about you far away from the white line and hope that the pattern is forgiving. I apologise if you can hear the kids because it is now the summer holidays in my house, so they are being quite noisy. There we go, so that is our section I want. I'm going to put the spare pieces over to the side because they will be used for another scrapbook page, no doubt. And this will be the bit that goes across the middle. So let's get our 2 pages back out again. Like so. See, I love the way that that bit looks in that corner, but I'm not a fan of how this bit just suddenly abruptly ends. So I'm going to put our green strip here, and maybe just a thin green strip under this side, but underneath the pink, whereas this one will be on top of the pink, if that makes sense. So let's just cut off some strips and we're just going to wing it by eye. I'm just going to guesstimate how thick I want them, but that one I'm going to go 1 3/4 inches. I think looks quite a good size for that side, and then we want a thicker one that's going to go over this side. So we did 1 3/4. 4 1/4 looks too much. 3 1/4. 3 1/4 looks quite good. Okay, we're going to put that piece off to the side as well. So there's that piece cut. Now let's piece these onto our page and see how we feel about them. So this one is going to go here on top, and this thinner one is going to go here underneath, like so. Need to make sure I got the angle of this pink one right, like so. And then I'm going to carefully mark with my pokey tool. Just going to put a tiny little dot there and there so I can match them up on my trimmer, so I know that's where I'm going to be cutting. Right, now let's look for my tiny little dots. There's one, and where's the other one? See one, but I've lost the other. It's good, isn't it? Right, let's lay it back on the page again. I'll line that dot up. So that dot is there. That's going to be lined up in the centre. And I see my other dot. It was way further away than I thought it was going to be. So there's one dot, and then there's my other dot. Like that. Make sure my dots are still in line with the gutter of my score. There we go. So that'll go nicely on that corner, just there like that. And then the pink will come across the page here, like so, and then that will go there. Like so. So it just looked like it's a piece of, I don't know, ribbon that's gone behind. So we can move this further along and it will look like the ribbon just like disappears underneath. Yeah. So I feel like if we stick these down first and then we can go from decorating from here. Because I haven't really planned where anything's going to go. Actually, before we decorate or before we stick anything down, maybe we should pick a layout, because right now I just have a bundle of bits and bobs. So that's just a few tags. I picked out a few cards, and then I had all of my half suitcases and things, didn't I? I didn't put in my pile that I knew I definitely wanted to use. So the idea with these suitcases, I was going to tuck some of them behind like this at different angles, so they weren't being wasted, but they were strategically placed, should I say. Just like so. And then I also have a few umbrellas as well, and various different bits and bobs. I've got a couple of full umbrellas as well. So, like that. That is what I was thinking for the half pieces. Don't necessarily have to keep all those, and that was a bit small. Let's go for a slightly bigger one. Like that. Yeah, like that. And then we've got our I was thinking something like this one over here, and then journaling one here, and perhaps this one down here, and then we've got space for our photo mat. So one photo, two photo, and then a third one like here, and then we've got various tags and little bits and bobs around. So I feel like we need some more yellow on the page. I think that's working for me, and we can add some little bits in afterwards. I have got these two tiny little passports as well, so we'll put those somewhere, even though we wouldn't have used a passport. So I'm going to be doing a scrapbook page for our holiday we went on a couple of years ago in Cornwall. And what made me think of the holiday in Cornwall is this one here, because we had our photo taken at the signpost that has Land's End and all the other various places, and it had our photograph of the distance to our house and things like that. So that's the first thing that automatically made me think of Cornwall, and the fact that it absolutely hoofed it down the day that we had our photo taken with the umbrellas. So that was just immediately, as I saw this, is the first thing that came to my head, and I thought that's what would be great to do with this. So now I've got an idea in my head of how I want it to be laid out. I think we're going to slide this one underneath for now. I'm going to stick down everything on our top one. But I want to move the stuff off to the side in the same kind of pile as where it is on my page. So put the little bits and bobs up here because I can add those on afterwards. So we want to put the pink piece on first. We need to make sure that the corner meets the side perfectly here, so that when we put the next one next to it, it fits perfectly as well. And that's just when I hope that I actually cut it straight. I am going to use some tearing tape for the back of this, because I feel like it would just use so much glue, and when you're using so much glue, you end up sometimes with wavy paper. I don't want that. I'm just going to put a little bit more at the top there. A little bit more down in this corner. So I've gone a little bit over here, but that doesn't matter, I'll just fold it back on itself. And now, because I flipped my paper over, I've lost in my head which way round it goes. So we're going to have to double check on that before we stick anything. The orientation of it goes that way. Oh, and I've just stepped something. So it goes this way round, just because I want the pattern to match up perfectly. Yep, definitely 100% that way. And now I need to match up this edge. With that corner. There we go. There's that bit. Now we're going to stick this bit down. Sorry about that, being asked for ice creams, even though it's been raining all day. It must still be warm if they want an ice cream. So, let's get this one a little bit longer this time. I've gone over the tape a little bit in either corner, but it's fine. There we go. So notice with these pieces I didn't go right up to the edges, so that I can slip little bits under the edges when I glue little pieces on. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room to get it under there. There we go, there's that one. And then next up was this card was going to go down in the bottom. Where did I put my glue? I had it right in front of me just a second ago. Oh, it fell over. There it is. So these cards were actually part of one of the sides of one of the sheets of 12 by 12, but because I like these cards to use as like memories and more cards, I decided first thing I did with this paper pack was cut these up, because I have every intention of using these this side rather than the other side of the paper. And then I just want to make sure it's straight. And then we've got that one to go there. I do want to punch out my whole of this, but my hole punch is slightly buried, but I can see it. So, yay, nobody else has used my hole punch. I like to put my item or whatever I'm punching through the hole punch. I'm trying to find the best angle to get to. Oh, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get to the hole in this one. It's not lining up very well. No, it's not going to go. My hole punch isn't big enough. Right, plan B. I do have a... No, that's not the right size hole punch either. Oh, so I won't be able to cut that one out then. I'm going to tuck that under just a little bit and stick that one down there. So I'm going to tuck that under first before it completely, blue card completely dries. Like that. And I do want to stamp these cards before I stick these down, so we're going to wait to stick those down. Let's do these little pieces that I had already. So, yep, so that one fits under there nicely. As I've already got it under there, I'm not going to pull it out just in case. But we'll put the glue underneath and then go from there. There we go, like that. Passport I want to put up here actually. I was going to put it down the bottom, but I want to put the umbrella down the bottom. So the umbrella there. And then let's tuck the red suitcase under first. I'm going to put my glue down and slide my bit over the top. So it's a great way of using up the scraps you might otherwise have thrown away by hiding them under edges. So with flowers I normally use the ones with calf edges to make a border around a card, for example. You will go under. I should have tucked you under first, shouldn't I? There we go. Like that. And then we do have a half an umbrella. Like that. And then our photos, one here maybe, one here. But like I say, we'll stamp those quickly first before we stick those down. So let's just pop those off to one side a minute. So that's our first page all stuck down. We haven't stuck any of our lovely little stickers on yet, but we'll get there. So next up is to fit this pink corner on. First we need to stick that green strip down. So let's take all these little pieces off. These tags I might not actually stick down completely for now. I might just put a tiny bit of oh, what's it called? Got it right in front of me. Stamp and seal on the back, just so that I can remove them to stamp on them. Because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to stamp on them yet, but I feel like I might stamp something on them, or I might use one of them for just writing on. So first things first, we need to stick green strip down. Just like so. Oh, come on, peel. It's not peeling for me. There we go, we got it. Right. No, don't stick, don't stick, don't stick. We need to see where this pink piece goes, at least roughly. So I want my green strip somewhere here. So I'm going to line up my green strip first, like so, and then we're going to stick this one down. That was way too short for that edge. A bit along there. Tiny bit too much on there, but we can fold it over, no big deal. And now I've done it again and I've lost the orientation, which way around it goes. It goes that way. So I need to make sure those corners match up with the top and side. I think my pink's a tiny smidge off, and I've stuck it. I don't think it's going to peel up. It might peel up okay. I just don't want to tear my cardstock underneath. Oh. It's not going to peel up. Luckily, because we're sticking bits over these, it won't be too obvious if it's a little bit curled from peeling up, just to make it straight. Now the papers, tear and tape stain stuck to the cardstock rather than the paper. Okay, got it. Right. So this is going to make it even harder to perfectly stick a second time, let's turn the page around so I can look at it from a better angle. I think the green underneath is not quite 100% straight. I see that's miles off now. I feel like I'm going to be forever fighting with this, but hopefully third time lucky. Tell you what, let's make sure that the side is straight. Actually no, let's make sure the top is straight, because the side might be a little bit more forgiving if we hide it in the spine of our album. You might not notice it so much being a little bit off, so we're going to make sure that top is nice and straight against the orange. There we go. Gonna have to do a little bit of trimming, I reckon. So move that one out of the way a minute. Yep, I'm just going to trim a squidge off the side. Actually, let's get my trimmer, because I don't trust myself, because it's such a tiny amount. I'm just going to line up my cardstock with the edge there to make sure it stays 100% straight. And it didn't get close enough, did it? Of course it didn't. I think that's the best I can do. Got a really firm stick down now, because it's been pulled up a couple of times, and then I'm going to put a bit of glue under that corner, because that corner is going to keep peeling when it hasn't got tape underneath. Come on, glue. There you go, I knew you were in there. So that's that bit. We've got, where did my other little bits go? Have I gone and flinged them? I've gone and flinged them, haven't I? Yep. So this suitcase is going to go under here nicely. But that edge where it's peeling up, I'm going to stick a bit of glue under there too. There like that, like that. Hold it down a minute. Can't remember where I had the other umbrella. I think it was at the top actually, rather than the bottom there. Just because of the angle where it's cut. I think it would have made more sense it being at the top. Like that. This one can be stuck down next. I think I stuck my other two cards down with the glue actually, didn't I? Oh well, tape it is for this one. One can go up there like that, And then we've got a big photo going down here. Like so. And then our two little ones to go on the other one. And then up here we was going to have these two tags, wasn't we? I want to have some other little bits and bobs here. So let's glue those two over here then, I think. Pop that on there, and then we'll get to stamping in a second. And then finally we'll get some little stickers on. There we go. And then we're just going to put a tiny bit of stamp and stuff on the back of these when it wants to work on me. Decided the stamp and seal is really not for me. So that one's going to go there. And that can go there. So let's get to our stamping now. So I'm just going to stamp our little camera icons in Memento Black. Let's get out our stamp. Where is it? There. I'm just going to try and go right in the middle. Actually, I was putting those around the other way, wasn't I? Turn it over. So I want it that way. And then I want this one this way as well. And then this one's going this way. There we go, like that. So that's all the stamping we're going to do for now. And then we can stick these down. So I'm going to pop this tape there. So instead of them really being photo place card holders, they're more like the photo frame as such, as you'll have a little edge around them, so it'll kind of frame your photo once your photo's stuck on top. There we go. And then we'll bring back the first page as well, and we'll stick down these two. I do apologise if all you can hear is my kids in the background. They're going away for 1 week in the summer holidays, so I might just do a mass recording while they're away, so that I don't have to have them in the background for the rest of August's videos. And I had every intention of doing Christmas in July this year, but I don't actually have any current Christmas sets, I don't think. The only one I have is one that's already in the I've got the falling snow background, but that's really it. So yeah, Christmas in July is not happening this year, I'm afraid, until I get some more Christmas stuff. So we might do a Christmas in August instead, just 1 week, where we just get a little ahead of our Christmas projects. Right, so I'm going to get out some of these puffy stickers. And we can just dot a few around. So let's see how well my pages meet up in the middle. Not too bad. That's not too bad. So we've got go with like a postage stamp up there. These are more like a foam actually. So like a foam puffy rather than the ones that sort of like have air in. It's like a foam puffy. And I'm just going with stickers, no rhyme or reason. Actually, I'm going to stick that one up the other way. No, I said there's no rhyme or reason. Nope, I don't like that one actually. Change my mind. We got a blue star over here. And black arrow there. What else do we fancy? I'm going to go with another pink star over there. And can't decide. No, that doesn't work. And I feel like I want one of these nice big green stars just up here. So there we go. There is our 2-page scrapbooking spread using the On The Go suite. So I'll just move it left to right so you can see the entire spread. I will try and get a picture of the whole thing so it's easier for you guys to see. So I hope you've enjoyed watching my scrapbooking adventure today. I will try and add photos before this video goes live, but I can make no promises. My work schedule is kind of crazy these days, as I've just been promoted at work, so there's a lot more dedication and time and things going into work as well. One last thing I have to share with you: make something that means something. So every project that I'm making going forward is going to be something that is something specifically that I'm going to use, or I'm going to use like something that means something to me. So it's not just going to be a random project just for the sake of a video. It'll always be something that I'm going to keep for my personal use now, so that it means something so much more special to me. These cards were actually given out to us at the demonstrator meetup we did in June, and it just made me think a little bit more about why I was crafting and what I was crafting for, and how I was going to craft going forwards, because it doesn't make sense to just make projects for the fun of it if they're just going to get discarded and not used or not make their full potential. So going forwards, I will always be making something that means something to me, that's always going to be used for something, whether that be that perhaps one week I just don't have the time, or don't have anything that I need to make, or don't have anything that outwardly appeals straight away to something I need at that time. It may be that some of my projects that I do are kind of like part projects where I'm making something for something else that I'm doing at a later date, but it'll always be something now that is going to be used and not wasted, if you get what I mean. I want my projects to mean so much more to me than just being something to look at. I want to be able to cherish it a little bit more than just possibly wasting my time on something. So it's definitely made me think twice about my crafting and what I want to do with my crafting going forwards. So I hope you've enjoyed watching today's video, and I hope you will come back again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.